Hey everyone, so the Liberty 3 Pro have made a little bit of a name for themselves as the best bang for your buck true wireless earbud you can get. Retailing for $169 US, I'll be comparing them to the $249 Momentum 3 true wireless earbuds. So let's see how they compare. We're gonna be covering everything today because as usual here, we're going in depth. Let's get into another picky review. All right, starting with the fit, and when it comes to comfort, I'm gonna give the win to the Liberty 3 Pro. It's super close, but they have slightly less pressure in the ear canal since they do have some pressure relief built in. So when they're in the ears, it just feels like slightly less in the ear canal. But I can wear either pair for easily over 3 hours with no discomfort. But when it comes to how secure the fit is, I'm giving the win to the Sennheiser. I always find with weight training, that's the ultimate test. Lying down for bench press, deadlifting, squatting, grinding and making some crazy weird training faces. With the Sennheisers, there's no way they're gonna fall out and they barely budge out of my ear to the point where I never even have to readjust the earbuds when training. Compared to the Liberty 3, they're also not gonna fall out of my ears, but I found I had to readjust those buds quite often and they would budge out easily when like clenching my jaw and stuff like that. Keep in mind, that's just for me. Fit is slightly different for everyone. But if you like using your earbuds when training, both have an IPX water resistant rating, so fine for sweat, splashes of water, use in the rain, you just can't submerge either bud in water. Now with battery life, in my test at 70% volume on an iPhone XS with noise cancelling on the Sennheiser, I got 8 hours and 9 minutes. On the Liberty 3 Pro, I got 5 hours and 20 minutes. So the Sennheiser win there, but the Liberty 3 Pro do have slightly better fast charge, with 15 minutes giving you 3 hours compared to 10 minutes giving you 1 hour on the Sennheiser. And both cases do charge wirelessly, but the Liberty 3 case is noticeably thinner and smaller, so it's gonna fit in the pocket a little bit easier than the Sennheiser. Now when it comes to controls, it's a nice clean tie here because both pairs allow for complete customization of each individual touch function in the app. So this means you can have your play, pause, your ambient controls, as well as volume controls all on the earbuds themselves. Sensitivity is spot on for both pairs as well. But when it comes to in-ear detection, it's much more responsive on the Sennheiser, where the Liberty 3 Pro, it takes about 3 seconds for your music to pause when you take one or both earbuds out of your ear. Now, when it comes to connectivity, here's what you're getting on both pairs. The Liberty 3, of course, have the advantage of the LDAC codec. So if you use high quality streaming services on an Android device, you're basically gonna get about a 10% improvement in your overall sound quality. But that will give you a less stable connection where aptX and aptX Adaptive gives you decent quality streaming, better than AAC, but a more stable connection. So I'm gonna give it a tie for that one there. But when it comes to multi-point connection, as of right now, only the Liberty 3 have it, works seamlessly. The Sennheisers are supposed to have it coming in a future update. Sennheiser said they don't know when though. So it's not here now. Liberty 3 Pro win this round. But on both pairs, single earbud use works, so you can use one earbud while the other rests in the case. And when you are using one earbud, it will work in mono mode, but only on the Sennheisers. With the Liberty 3, it doesn't work in mono mode, which is very weird. Normally you don't see that. So basically if you're using one earbud, you're gonna only hear one audio channel coming out of the earbud, where on the Sennheiser you hear both audio channels. Now when it comes to latency with videos, both pairs are completely fine. In my quick gaming test, I did notice the Sennheiser had lower latency, but here are the detailed results I got in my gaming latency test. Basically, if you're playing games like shooters, you want to get around 200 milliseconds. For casual games, as long as you're below 400 milliseconds, you'll be fine. But now let's run through the indoor and outdoor microphone comparisons. All right, so here is a microphone test with the Sennheiser Momentum 3 true wireless earbuds, and I'm in a nice quiet room here at the moment. All right, so here's a microphone test with the Soundcore Liberty 3 Pro, just in a nice quiet room here at the moment. Now I've got some crowd simulation noise playing off the bookshelf speakers right behind me to mimic what it will be like to be on a phone call in a noisy environment. Now I've got some simulation crowd noise being played off the bookshelf speakers right behind me to mimic what it would be like to be on a phone call in a noisy environment. All right, so here we are in the outside world with the Sennheiser Momentum 3 true wireless earbuds on a nice busy motorway here right now with cars going 100 kilometers an hour. So hopefully you can hear my voice well and the noise is getting blocked out. All right, so here we are in the outside world with the Soundcore Liberty 3 Pro on a nice busy motorway here right now. It's incredibly noisy, so hopefully you can hear my voice well and the noise is getting blocked out behind me. All right, before we talk about noise cancelling, a quick little drop on my Instagram here. If you want to stay updated with behind the scenes action of me and my audio ventures, link is down below on the noise cancelling. And how I test my noise cancelling to keep it even across the board, I chuck on simulation plane, train, and crowd noise on my soundbar with the sub, so I get nice high frequency and nice low frequency. Here's my overall ANC ranking for every true wireless earbud that I've tested. And as you can see there, it's an easy win for the Sennheiser. They're just clearly better in all those tests. Still, for the price, the Liberty 3 Pro come pretty close, but it's about 20% better overall on the Sennheiser. And both buds are using adaptive noise canceling, so that'll adjust the noise canceling strength dependent on the environment. But you do have the option on the Liberty 3 Pro in the app to just choose your own strength. If you want to have it on low, medium, or high, where on the Sennheiser you can't do that. Now, when it comes to EQ shift, that's how your sound quality changes with noise canceling on compared to noise canceling off. On the Sennheiser, there's a very small change. With noise cancelling on, they do sound better though. It's about a 5% increase in bass, and they just sound a bit fuller. Where on the Liberty 3 Pro, they sound better with noise cancelling on, but it's a more dramatic change where your bass decreases by a solid 15%, but overall clarity kind of improves. So the win's gonna go to the Sennheiser because there's less shift, which is generally what I'm looking for. But the Liberty 3, you're gonna get the win when it comes to wind noise reduction because they have an automatic wind noise reduction mode. How that works is when you have noise cancelling on and the microphones pick up a bit of wind, it'll automatically bring the noise cancelling performance down so you don't hear wind coming through the microphones. Where on the Sennheiser, you have to go on the app and turn it on manually. And with that on, you're gonna lose about 50% of your noise cancelling performance. It cuts out all the wind completely, but it's kind of a win-lose there. I'm hoping they come out with an automatic wind noise reduction in the future with an update. But when it comes to the transparency mode, the Sennheiser are gonna get the win. It's super close. I'd rate the Sennheiser about an 8 out of 10, with the Liberty 3 are about a 7.5 out of 10. The Sennheiser sound slightly more natural and you can hear things a little bit easier as well. And you also have the option in the app to completely adjust the strength of it, where in the Liberty 3 you only get 2 options there, vocal and full transparency. Now, before we talk about sound quality, I quickly want to touch up on the app support. It's super close here. I'm giving it a tie because the Liberty 3 Pro does give you a bit more of a fledged out EQ customization, but on the Sennheiser app, you have a sound zone feature. So this allows you to save some EQ customization and ambient controls to certain locations that you visit. And when you visit that location, it'll automatically turn on. I don't know if anyone uses that, but it's there. So if you need it, there you go. And on the Liberty 3 Pro, you get things like Hear ID and Sound ID, which like you kind of do tests and you get customized noise cancelling and EQ presets, but I find them a bit gimmicky. The Sennheiser app also has that, sound check, but I find just do your own EQ and you can get more flexibility. But now onto volume. If you're looking for the loudest listening, the Sennheisers just get the win. You get about 1 extra click on them, but both are ridiculously loud, above 80%. Above that, you're in hearing loss territory, so both are gonna be completely fine. But if you're looking for low level listening, the Liberty 3 go really quiet at the low volumes, where the Sennheisers are still kind of loud at the lowest volume. So low level listening, the bedtime certification goes to the Liberty 3. But now let's run through what's most important, sound quality. The win is going to the Sennheisers. I personally like them with no EQ customization on. You get a tasteful amount of both mid bass and sub bass, but it's really well mannered and it works really well with any genre. It's definitely not a flat bass response. There's a little bit of boosting going on, which I like. The mid range is smooth and slightly recessed, but vocals come through really clear with nice detail. And they also have some of the nicest treble with excellent sparkle, excellent detail at the same time, rarely getting harsh even at high volumes. Now the Liberty 3 Pro, right out of the box with no EQ, sound a little bit too bass and trebly, a little bit too V-shaped for my liking. So here's my favorite EQ where I kind of just bump up the mids and bring the treble down ever so slightly because I did find that treble to get harsh quite easily. So now with this EQ, these are just a bassier bud overall, so there's a little bit more rumble in that sub bass. But comparing the mid-range to the Momentum 3, even though I've boosted them on the Liberty 3, they still feel a little bit flat and a little bit behind the mix compared to the Sennheisers. The treble comes pretty close to the quality of the Sennheisers though, but again, even though I've brought it down slightly, it can still get a little bit harsh on certain songs. They do have a slightly more open sound than the Sennheisers, but when it comes to instrument separation, it's an easy win for the Sennheisers. Plus you also have the option of the bass boost special EQ in the app, and that'll really boost that mid bass and a little bit of sub bass as well to give you some more over the top bass that works really well with electronic music. And with that on, you can kind of start to EQ the Liberty 3, but with that bass boost EQ on the Sennheisers, they pretty much catch up to the amount of over the top bass you can get, and it's actually pretty close there. So if you want a more clean sound with the Sennheisers, you've kind of got that on the stock EQ. You can also chuck on the podcast EQ, which kind of brings down the bass and boosts the mids, making it a little bit more mid-focused. And then you have obviously bassier options there as well. So it's a pretty nice sound, whether you want it to be cleaner or a little bit more bass heavy. So now to explain the sound further, it's genre rating checklist time. I'm gonna let you know which bud I think works best with each individual genre. You can probably tell the Sennheisers win pretty much everything, but I will tie it for hardstyle trap and dubstep and techno, because it's fine, those genres work with that kind of extra bass and that extra sub bass. But again, the bass boost feature on the Sennheiser allows it to kind of equal the amount of bass you're getting there, even though Liberty 3 have a lot of bass. I'm saying bass too much, I'm gonna stop. So to wrap it up here, we're gonna keep in mind the Liberty 3 are coming in at a much lower price, and they still are the best bang for your buck earbud you can currently get. And at least at the time of this video, still have multi-point connection where the Sennheisers don't. So if you don't mind spending a little bit of extra money and you want that great sound quality, superior noise cancelling, and a better fit, they're gonna be the pair to go for. But that wraps it up. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check out all my other Momentum 3 comparisons right here. But in the meantime, stay picky. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.